Hello and welcome to In Touch with Durham County. I'm Deborah Craig Ray, General Manager of Strategic Planning and Innovation. We are here virtually to bring you knowledge and information from Durham County government. Well, I'm sure you have heard that it's an election year. You've heard about the candidates. But did you know that there are 3 bond questions on the ballot in Durham County? Well, today we are bringing you facts and details that you'll need to know about the 2022 bond referendum, which will appear on the November 8th ballot. And let me say, the 3 bond questions will be located on the back of your ballot, so don't forget to turn it over. Our entire show today is dedicated to helping you understand the funding and the projects involved in these 3 areas. Durham Public Schools funding at $423,505,000. Durham Technical Community College at $112,740,000 and $13,995,000 for the Museum of Life and Science. So now, let's begin with some basics. Exactly what is a General Obligation Bond Referendum? Well, it's a voting process that gives you, the voters, the power to decide if a county or municipality should be authorized to raise funds through the sale of bonds. In short, it is a long-term borrowing tool in which a county or municipality pledges its full faith and credit to repay the debt over a specified term. So I'm sure your next question is, will my taxes go up if the voters support this bond referendum? Well, that answer is yes. The county dedicates a portion of property and sales tax receipts and other revenues to its overall capital finance program. Because of this, a potential 2.5-cent tax rate may be needed to support this debt growth. Here are some examples to consider. So if your home is valued at $100,000, you may be looking at an additional $2.08 a month. If it's valued at $200,000, an additional $4.14 a month is needed. And if your home is valued at $400,000, you'll pay $8.33 a month. So now, let's talk about the projects that are included in this $550.2 million General Obligation Bond Referendum. Durham Public Schools will receive the largest share of these funds if approved. Let's hear from Superintendent Pascal Mubenga in this short interview, shall we?
The bond amount for DPS for this November is roughly about $423 million and $505,000. What Durham community need to understand about this bond referendum, we have not built any school for Durham Public School last 10 years. We just opened one, Lion Farms, and Durham is growing. And a lot of our facility has 50 years or no, even more. So it's time for us to be able to upgrade our HVAC and the other things that we've been dealing on the regular basis. Our facility are breaking down because of the aging. So this bond is going to give us opportunity not only to be able to upgrade, but also to be able to expand. Durham is growing. We're anticipating that there's going to be growth that will be coming at Durham Public Schools. And we are trying to be also proactive to make sure that we have enough seat for the future growth that is coming to Durham. And the growth is here. And some of our schools, they are over capacity already. Our students really deserve good facility, pretty much like our neighboring district. They're building schools 3 or 4 every year with updated technology. And for Durham to be competitive, we are pretty much asking the same thing that other community are asking as well. Give us new facilities so that we'll be able to provide really good technology and a good educational setting environment for our students. And as we say folks are really moving in the area, we really want to make sure that our buildings are also appealing to the new customers that are moving in the area. With that, we're going to have that's competitive, same footing with our other districts so that we can properly educate our students. The importance for this bond is going really to give advantage to our students to be able to be well educated in a good environment that's safe, because some of our buildings, when you go, we are still struggling to make sure that it's really secure the way they were designed years ago. We really want to make sure that we have buildings that's going to provide safety and a good learning environment for our students and appealing to all our stakeholders, and especially those newcomers that are coming to Durham. If they have to make a choice, they will have to make sure that our buildings are really looking good as well.
Thank you, Dr. Mubenga. And now we'll hear from School Board Chair Bettina Umstead, who shares additional information about the bonds.
Durham County is certainly growing. You can drive down the street and see there are new housing developments, there are new businesses coming into our community. And so we know with all that new housing development comes new families with children, and we want to make sure that in Durham Public Schools we have space to welcome them with open arms. We also want to make sure that our classrooms are able to do collaborative learning for the 21st century. The bond referendum gives us a large chunk of money to be able to support moving towards modernizing many of our buildings. In 2019, there was a long-range facility assessment done, and we saw that our schools needed about $700 million worth of repairs. So we wanted to start taking a chunk out of that. So the bond will allow us to do modernizing and renovating many of our elementary schools. That will expand much of the classroom space in many of those school buildings, as well as renovate some of those large spaces, including cafeterias and other multi-use spaces like a gym. The bond will also allow us to think about a new Durham School of the Arts, which will be a building that many of our students, they would like to see the program expand. So the Durham School of the Arts building will create a new state-of-the-art school that can really support the work that's happening. Durham County is in the triangle, and we know here that we have new businesses that are coming. We have graduate schools that bring many families into this area. And so it's important for our public school system to be able to educate students to create to take on the jobs that are in this community. We want our students to feel like Durham is a place where they can call home, that they have access to the jobs and the resources here. So that starts in pre-K, making sure students have the right classroom spaces to be in, that they are learning and growing, and that matriculates all the way through 12th grade. And so in this school bond, it allows us again to create the physical space for really great learning to happen, allows us to recruit new students, allows us to recruit educators into our buildings, because again, people want to work in spaces that are new, that are modern, that are set up for 21st century learning. I think it also allows us to continue to expand upon partnerships that we have in our community with many of the universities and the businesses here. So allowing those partnerships to thrive and grow so that our students are educated and they also graduate with ready for college or career.
And we thank them both for helping to share details of the plans for Durham Public Schools. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll talk about the two other critical bonds for Durham Technical Community College and the Museum of Life and Science. Stay with us.
The new COVID-19 boosters are safe and even more effective. We know that the COVID-19 virus continues to change over time as it continues to spread in our country and around the world. The new boosters give us all better protection against the COVID strains of the virus that we now see in our communities. You have a spot. Take your shot.
Stay protected against COVID-19. Find the updated booster at myspot.nc.gov.
We are so excited that the vaccines have been approved for our children 6 months and older.
I think it is time for all parents to have that conversation with their pediatricians concerning their infants and toddlers.
And this is just one of all the other vaccines that are really important for kids to get so they can stay safe and healthy.
So please go ahead and get your children 6 months and older vaccinated.
Kids under 5 can now get their COVID-19 vaccine. Visit myspot.nc.gov for more information and to schedule their appointment today.
Welcome back to a special edition of In Touch, where we're talking about the 2022 bond referendum. You might recall that Durham County voters were last given a chance to weigh in on bonds in 2016. Just to restate, Durham County voters will be asked to vote on a $550.2 million General Obligation Bond Referendum as a part of the November 8th election. Projects are for Durham Public Schools, Durham Technical College, and the Museum of Life and Science. In our next interview, we will hear from the president of Durham Technical College, J.B. Buxton, who will discuss the needs included in the bonds for his institution.
The November 8th bond referendum for Durham Tech will include $112.7 million. The bond referendum will support 3 specific projects for Durham Tech: 2 new facilities, 1 a life sciences training center, 2 a health sciences training and education center, and then 3rd, there's a small amount of money for some property acquisition around the boundaries of Durham Tech to allow for future college expansion. So with the first 2 projects, there's a 35,000 square foot life science training center where we will have the settings and equipment that individuals will use when they go into biotech facilities and biomanufacturing. In the health sciences center, similarly, we'll have the settings and the equipment that prospective employees in healthcare settings will use and will be trained on. The proposed projects are particularly important for Durham County residents because these are 2 booming job areas in Durham County and the Greater Triangle region. In the life sciences, we've seen 45 new companies and 7,000 new jobs announced in just the last 5 years. And if we want Durham County residents to move into those jobs, we need the facilities and equipment that they can train on to be prepared to move into those jobs. These are good jobs with good wages and good career opportunities. In the health sciences, between UNC Health, Duke Health, the Durham VA, long-term care facilities, community health work facilities, jobs are projected to grow in the double digits over the next 10 to 15 years. We need, again, to have the kind of settings and equipment that individuals need to train to be able to access those jobs. To plan for these projects, we have worked in the life sciences with major corporate partners that we have at Durham Tech who have planned with us the kinds of settings and equipment individuals need to work in their companies and do things like produce vaccines, work in gene therapy, work on other life-saving medicines. In the healthcare area, similarly, with all the healthcare systems we have in this area and long-term care facilities, we have worked with them about the kind of operating suites, simulation settings, labs that individuals need to work in and be comfortable with in order to move into those jobs. I think what you're going to see in the next 10 years, if we pass this referendum and build these facilities, is Durham residents in these jobs. And we're going to see residents in our community accessing jobs that provide family-sustaining wages, build generational wealth, have access to careers where you are involved in saving and impacting lives, whether it's in a healthcare facility or in this biotech sector. And so we're talking about growing community wealth, we're talking about investing in individuals, and we're talking about the opportunity for many more people to support themselves and their families in their careers.
Thank you, President Buxton, for sharing those insights. And rounding out this segment is Carrie Heinonen, the president and CEO of the Museum of Life and Science.
The museum has been a community resource, an educational and cultural resource for 75 years now. And part of the ethos that we go forward with is reaching into the community, reaching out to our members to ensure that the elements that we're bringing to them are relevant and are aligned with the educational needs of our community. We are an informal education institution. We see ourselves working in parallel and partnership with Durham Public Schools. So we're constantly looking to ensure that the lessons that we impart to our visitors are sneakily in support of national and North Carolina science standards. So we're always looking to ensure that as we're upgrading exhibits, as we're developing new programs, they're one, relevant to the community, but two, hitting hard on the greatest areas of need from an educational perspective. The museum is looking for the citizens to approve $13.9 million to support renovations on the museum, primarily looking at our internal exhibits, many of which have been on display now for nearly 15 years. So it's really an opportunity to upgrade the amenities that our many visitors and our community members enjoy day to day. It also supports driving sustainability on our campus with some environmentally friendly and energy conserving upgrades. And it also includes updating our amenities such as the cafe, where in addition to offering seating that will be more year-round friendly, a little AC in the summer, a little heat in the winter, it will also offer we hope to offer a teaching kitchen, which will allow us to talk about such challenges as sustainable agriculture, food deserts, and other educational elements within our community. One of the things that we'll be able to do with these funds is to ensure that that visitor experience is maintained at the level that people have come to expect from a visit at the museum. We think of ourselves as building that pipeline of curious learners and curious workers who are going to be filling the pipeline for workers that we need to feed the industry that we're building here in North Carolina. So that's how we see ourselves as a part of that continuum in the community.
Thank you both. So during this show, you have heard how Durham Public Schools is planning for student growth, renovating and improving the physical structures, and training for jobs for the 21st century. Durham Technical Community College will address current and projected in-demand jobs in priority industries and help create high-quality training hubs to prepare Durham residents for great jobs that require community college-level training and provide area companies with a diverse workforce pipeline. And finally, the Museum of Life and Science will work to support new exhibits focused on climate change, technological innovation, and health science, as well as enhancements and improvements to other indoor and outdoor learning environments. Please visit our Durham County website to see more detailed information on the 2022 bond referendum projects. That site is on your screen. It's www.dconc.gov. Before we end, we want to also post information about the 2022 election on November 8th. Here are some key dates to remember. Early voting begins on October 20th, and it continues until November 5th. The polls will be open Monday through Friday, and of course on Saturday and Sunday on the dates that are posted on your screen. Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th, and on that day the polls are open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. For more information on voting, that website is www.decovotes.com. All 3 bond questions will be on the back side of your ballot, so don't forget to flip it over so you can vote. Again, the total is $550.2 million. The bond projects are for Durham Public Schools, Durham Technical Community College, and the Museum of Life and Science. Well, that wraps up today's show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on In Touch with Durham County. Cheers!